messages for you from the Shreveport Security Systems message board.
More. I hope it's nice and sweet.
Of course. More officers equals crime deterrent, and this is no longer the elephant in the room. Not sure who the councilwoman is talking to, but I am on the street a lot, and I don't hear anyone saying that as long as crime is happening to someone else, it ain't our problem.
Well, because that's not a thing people say. What they do is they show it in their actions. They show it in the way that they've been completely silent until they finally start hearing the gunshots on the east side of I-49.
Yeah.
If you were silent about it 2 years ago, when Shantari Payne was killed at Midway in Linwood, if that didn't devastate you and realize that we were bracing ourselves for more crime to come, then then it took something happening in your neighborhood for it to matter to you. If you believe that right now in the last 2 years that the violent crime and our lack of a plan to deal with it, if you can still say that our police leadership has been doing a terrific job in the midst of all of that, and it didn't occur to you that it was a problem until something happened in your neighborhood that worried you, you weren't paying attention when it was happening across town. That is who I'm talking to. And if it triggers you to hear me say that and you want to get defensive about it, don't get defensive with me. Go talk to your neighbors about how they feel about the crime and ask them when it started worrying them. Ask them how many toddlers had to get killed before they actually wanted to do something about it, and what plan were they requesting? What plan were they talking to their city council members about? What plan were they demanding of their police leadership?
I don't even want to say this to you, but I'm going to.
I'm probably starting to sound a little hot.
I'm going to. There are neighborhoods in our community where if one of my neighbors' 3-year-old children got shot and killed,
the pitchforks would be out.
I would want your head.
Hell yeah, you
would. I would want the police chief's head.
And
I would want the mayor's head.
Why
is that not happening now? Why are we not saying, stop this talk, stop the prayer rallies, fix the problem?
We need to be asking for a plan. I would like to see a plan. That's what Councilman Bowman asked for. It is past time for leadership to have presented a plan to us.
What needs to be in that plan? What does LeVette Fuller want in that plan?
I want to see more police more patrol across more districts. And there's a difference between profiling and patrolling. And there's a difference between patrolling and occupying a neighborhood. An increased police presence is what we're talking about. And when we talk about community response, and we had this thing called the community response unit, the CRUs would go out. And part of this wasn't just that they were out, it was who they were. These were police officers that had relationships in the community, and they were able to get information that led to consequences because they were able to solve crimes. And then the DA could deal with that. And we can talk about that whenever you want. But what I'd like for people to do is get data from the DA's office on how many files they get that they have to go back and rework with their detectives to fill in the gaps before they can prosecute, and how many of those things they have to give back and say
because
we can't even prosecute
police officers are dropping the ball?
Boom.
Police officers are not doing their jobs right?
You'll never get the DA to say it, but the data will tell you the story.
Okay, that's a problem. But you're also going to hear the police chief say, we're down 100 officers. We can't get people to come work for us.
Well, that's going to be an internal issue that you can't just throw your hands up in the air and say, I don't know what to do. And if that's your answer is, I don't know what to do, that's not, no. The responsibility ends at the leadership. And I'm not his supervisor.
Does he need to go? Is it time for a new police chief?
If he were Crump, he would have been gone by now.
Whoa. Explain that.
Think about, okay, so he has the scores, but he wasn't in the top 5. But he got selected anyway because he had the scores and he looks the part. 2 years of violent crime being where it is, knowing that in January of 2019, he removed the CRUs and we started to see this uptick in violent crime. And we're not doing anything but saying that the community won't work with us. But at the same time, we're not seeing any accountability for the 8 police that had to be arrested, the 4 that were arrested with the Tommy McLaughlin case for excessive use of force. If you're not having accountability and policing yourself, how are you going to police the community and expect the people in the community to work with you? You have no trust.
You're calling for a new police chief.
What I am saying is, when I look at the data and where we are right now, in the last 5-6 years prior to this, we would not have allowed this to go on for this long.
Wow.
So what's different now?
Yeah. Do you think we have someone in the department who could do a better job?
I think there were 3 finalists for the job that committee thought could do a better job.
Interesting. It's a problem.
And the thing is, this isn't saying that the chief isn't a good guy that isn't trying really hard, but we don't have a plan. Where is the plan? And before y'all get mad at me for everything that you're hearing me say and everything you're inferring between the lines, ask yourself, when have you heard a plan?
Got another message for you.
And don't tell me that, well, you don't take a plan out in the public. No, you do. You let the community know that we are putting more officers on the street, that we are going to be doing tactical things, and that you will see more of a police presence, even working with the few officers that we have right now on patrol and the few that we're able to move from other places. You let us know something so that we start to feel confidence and know that we're going to start feeling safer.
Shreveport Security Systems message board. Tell me if this is accurate or not. The black community is the most silent of all with regards to crime.
They're the most frustrated and inundated with it. I don't know that people are silent about it because I hear a lot of frustration. The issue is that we don't talk to each other. So what you're seeing is silence because you're probably not in the black community hearing it, or you're not seeing it on the media or in the media. Yeah, it might look that way. But but the thing is, it's a disjointed community right now. There was a town hall in the skybox. And when I got there, I heard a lot of, it's the parents' fault. These children need Jesus. And then I heard a few saying we need more recreation, we need conflict resolution and all of that stuff. And all of that might be true, but I'm not hearing, well, what are we going to do? Like I said, we have all the facilities we could use at our disposal. What are we doing to put effective programming in place that isn't just grabbing at grants with no data to back it up? What we're doing right now is not working.
Is it as frustrating for you as it is for everybody in the community and the police department, etc.?
I hear the gunshots in my neighborhood. I live in Highland, and I know there was a time when I didn't hear as much of that. Okay. Yes, it's frustrating. I worked in my previous life. I worked with children. My heart breaks every single time this happens. And the thing is that makes it frustrating is I have no control. I cannot stop a bullet. I can't go and rehabilitate each of these kids that's in this life by myself. You start to feel helpless. In fact, I've told y'all, I don't need anyone's permission to go out and pick up the trash and clean up the neighborhoods and talk to the community and figure out if I can make a difference. And that can tell you that from those efforts, I've gotten at least one drug dealer evicted. How many times does a house get shot up before you say, wait a minute, why is the landlord allowing this to happen? I got another one coming out of Highland, hopefully really soon. So that's one thing, but then they're going to go somewhere else if we can't get them off the street. So yeah, you start to feel hopeless, you get frustrated. And I'm getting the phone calls from people saying, what are you going to do? Because we don't hear you talking about it. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about stuff just to talk. I'm not going to thoughts and prayers with you if I don't have a solution. Part of my solution is that we clean up the community, knowing that studies show the effect that has. But when I look at the program that you have, that's so-called mentoring, nonprofits that are supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, I want to see the hard numbers for why we keep justifying them being there if they're not just a grant grab, if they're not making an impact, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I'm not going to just say it about the police. If you're doing a thing over and over again and it's not working, something has to shift.
Right.
And the thing is, everyone says, well, it's a community effort. It's a community effort. You can't just throw your hands up in the air and say, I don't have enough officers. I don't know what you want me to do. You can't keep saying it's the parents' fault. I don't know what to do. At some point, we have to intervene.